All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever it is that you are actually watching from. My name is Rhonda Jordan, and I am excited about today's. What we're going to be doing today because this is going to answer a lot of the questions that many of you have asked me regarding different types of equipment that I use and so forth. And it's a really great time to actually do that because we are in the midst of a lot of sales that are happening with, for example, Amazon and Walmart and Target. And I think Best Buy might have even gotten in on that. So if you have joined me already, feel free to drop in your location. Tell me where it is that you are actually watching from. I also always like to know that you can hear me loud and clear. This might be a time also for you to just kind of take notes if, in fact, you are a solopreneur or someone who is considering doing live streams and also someone that is interested in affiliate marketing because as I shared with my email list, this is going to be an opportunity for you to watch, learn, and then do. Because essentially, what I'm going to be doing is just sharing some of the equipment and the tools that I use in order to run my business, how I create videos, and also how I live stream. So, this will, as I said, be a great opportunity for you to take notes, learn, and then replicate this process with items that would work for your audience. So, if in fact you can hear me okay, just give me a thumbs up or something. Let me know again where it is that you're watching from. And just understand that I'm sharing this because you would be surprised by how many people reach out to me and they want to know what equipment I use, what, specifically camera and also microphones, and why. I was asked last week, why do you have two microphones? And I'll share with you why. The other thing that I want to make very clear is the information and the tools that I'm going to be sharing with you and the equipment. None of this is required. Honestly, you can actually start by, if you're interested in recording videos, you can start by simply using your cell phone. The latest cell phones that are out there actually will film in 4K. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I have an iPhone 11. Yeah, I know. I need to upgrade, and I actually do have one on the way to me with a new upgrade. But my iPhone 11 has served me well, and it can actually record in 4K. So I want to take all of that off the table and just let you know you really do not have to have all of the equipment that I have. Also, I want to let you know that the equipment that I do have, I have acquired it over years. This is not something I went out and bought everything all at one time. And the last thing I want to share with you is especially my video and live streaming equipment that I use. Google AdSense money paid for that. Now, if you don't know what Google AdSense is, Google AdSense is the income that is earned by being a part of the YouTube Partner Program, and you earn a percentage of the watch hours, if you will, based upon the watch hours and what advertisers pay. You earn a percentage because you're splitting commission with YouTube. So I used that money, reinvested it back in my business, and that's how I purchased equipment. So I just want to put that out there. The other thing I'm going to be sharing with you is, or want to share with you and make very clear, is I'm going to be taking you over to my Amazon storefront. So I am an Amazon in the Amazon influencer program. Give me just one second. I am in the Amazon influencer program. So anything that I show you today, I could earn a commission based upon anything you would purchase through my link, and it's not going to cost you any additional money. So I always like to get the disclaimer out of the way. That way I'm compliant with the FTC and the Amazon terms and conditions. So if you want to say hello to me, by all means, just drop it in the comments. I appreciate you all being here live. Now, let's go back and talk about Prime Days, Amazon Prime Days. And for those of you that are watching, so you can replicate this process, What I would recommend that you do, even if you're not in the Amazon influencer program, if you're an Amazon affiliate, what I would recommend you do is to think about your audience, think about things that can help them, and then what you're going to do is to pick out maybe 15, items, 10 to 15 items. You could probably go as high as 20 depending on how long you're planning to be on live. And what you're going to be doing is exactly what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to share with you what the item does, how it can help you, and how I personally use it. So everything you're going to see today, I personally use. All right. So just think of that as you are thinking about things that your audience could do. Could use. All right, so let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is start sharing my screen. And the first thing that we're going to be doing is I'm going to take you over to my Amazon storefront. So, as an Amazon influencer or being in that program, you receive a storefront that you personally build. And so, all of the items I'm going to be sharing with you, I have put into my storefront and they're in various lists. I've done some collages and so forth. So, the first thing that I want to start with, since that seems to be the thing that most people are interested in, is the equipment that I use to record videos. So for me personally, the equipment that I use to, or my camera that I use to record videos is the exact same camera that I use to live stream. So, I'm not, when it comes to camera equipment and that, I'm pretty technical when it comes to maneuvering around business tools and so forth, but cameras, I have to watch a YouTube video in order to set it up and make sure I'm using the right settings. So I needed something that was going to be easy for me to use and that could serve multiple purposes. I also want to let you know that if you are into vlogging, the camera I'm going to be showing you is perfect for that. So let's start off. I'm going to go ahead and open up this list so you can see it. And I have put the link to my Amazon storefront in the description of this video. So if you want to go and check anything out, you can just click the link in the video and it'll take you to the same page I just had you on. All right, so the camera that I use is this one. It is the Sony ZV-E10. It's not a new camera, but it's new to me. I've only had it about maybe 8 months or so. Because as I mentioned, I use the money from Google AdSense in order to purchase all of my camera equipment. Now, the thing I like about this camera is it's pretty lightweight. I have it mounted on a tripod, and I'm going to show you the tripod. It's a $14 tripod, so nothing super expensive. But what I can do with this particular camera, and just know I'm also using the kit lens that came with the camera. I don't even have a fancy lens on it. Now, I am able to stream, for example, right now I'm streaming in 4K with this particular camera. And so it does have interchangeable lenses. Right now, it looks like, I'm not sure, it looks like it is on sale currently. And the thing about this particular camera, if you're looking to do an upgrade, is it's really simple to get set up, ready to go. Nothing, particularly difficult about it. But as I mentioned, because it is fairly lightweight, it is one that could very easily be used for vlogging. Now, the camera I had before was just a DSLR camera, and I was having a lot of difficulty trying to figure out. It was older too. It was probably 6 years old. It did fine for recording regular videos, but when I started thinking about going live, I was just having too many challenges with it. So I had to find something, and the Sony was highly recommended by a lot of individuals. This particular camera, the ZV-E10, was highly recommended by a lot of individuals who had very successful, very successful YouTube channels. And you would think they'd be using these super high-end cameras, and many of them were using this exact same one. So it wasn't like you had to have a $3,000 or $4,000 camera. This one does everything I need it to do, and quite frankly, I don't see the need to have to do an upgrade anytime in the near future. And when I say near future, I'm probably talking 3 or 4 years. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean I won't add another camera, but I would continue to use this one because I like it so much and it does everything I personally need it to do. Now, as I mentioned, you can, in fact, do or put on additional lenses in that. I'm just not that technical and fancy, so I use the kit lens. All right. So if you have any questions as we're going through this, and welcome from Bangladesh. I appreciate you all being here. So, and as we're going through any of this, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those into the comments and I will definitely answer those. All right. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to show you the microphone that I use typically when I am recording videos, not the microphone you're actually seeing. This is the microphone that I connect to my camera when I'm recording video. So if you've ever watched any of my videos, this is the microphone that I'm using. Now, again, this was not something I started with. It was something that I added on later. But what I like about this, and I actually still have it, it's mounted here. It's actually on a boom arm, and I'll show you the boom arm as well. But it's mounted and I have it out of view. So, you don't actually see it when I record videos. Now, the thing I like about this one is it's just picking up the sound directly in front of me. The microphone I'll show you a little later that I'm using today also does that. So that's called a dynamic microphone. Some of the microphones out there, I had one other one before. I had a Blue Yeti. I had had it for over 10 years and I still have it. But the thing about it is it was picking up sound all around. And so when my landscapers would come, or if somebody was, walking past the room I record in, it was picking all that sound up. And my YouTube mentor said, no, you need to get a dynamic microphone. And that's when I went ahead and got this one. Now, this one, not only did it connect into my previous DSLR camera and work just fine, it connects into my Sony ZV-E10. So, it just does double duty, if you will. I'm one of those people that when I purchase something, I need it to last, or I want it to last for a pretty good amount of time. I don't want to be buying a camera every, year. You heard me say I still have a iPhone 11. So that's just not me. I'm not going to be buying cameras every year. I'm not going to be buying microphones every year. So I try to future proof myself. And that might be something you want to consider as well as you're going through it. But this particular camera can also be mounted right onto or this microphone can be mounted right onto your camera as well. So it had a lot of features that I really liked. Definitely something that I would say consider if you're looking for a good solid camera that you can either mount on your camera or mount on a boom. All right. Okay. So now the next thing I want to show you is lighting. And the reason why I'm showing you the things in this particular order is when you are recording any type of video, you have to have a, quality camera, whether that's your iPhone or, your Android phone or whatever it is. You have to have a quality sound, because I always tell people, because it was taught to me, sound audio is 50% of your video's quality. So we've covered the video or the video, we've covered the microphone. And now what I want to do is talk to you about lighting. Okay, so surprisingly, the lights that I use are not really expensive. So this is the first one that I have. And this light is off to the side here. And you see it's on Prime right now. They have it for $39. And the good thing about this is it comes with a microphone. You can adjust the lighting settings, meaning that if I want it brighter, if I want it dimmer, I can do all of that. And I'm going to just show you how well this light works. What I'm going to do is, for a second, I'm going to turn it off so you can see how much light this $39 camera is throwing out. So I'm using the microphone that came with it. I'm using the remote that came with it. So I'm just going to shut it off for a second. Now, you see how much difference that makes? It makes a huge difference. And then I just use the remote to turn it right back on. But that $39 camera, $39 lighting kit, if you will, makes a huge difference. And it comes with everything that you see here. This was recommended to me. And when I saw the price, I'm like, listen, I'm just going to pick it up because it makes sense. Now, I have this mounted just as you see it in the picture here, and it is on a 45-degree angle. So it's coming at me this way. So it's lighting this half of my face. Now, the next thing is with this setup that I'm using, I'm going to close this out so I don't have all of these things open. I also have a desk ring light. I actually have two of them, and these are on deal right now. It looks like for $33. I've had these for probably a couple of years now. I actually have two of them. The other light that is lighting this side of my face is one of these, and it's just mounted to the side of my desk. Now, additionally, I have another light, the exact same one, that's mounted here, but it's facing the wall to light up my background. And so, just to give you an example, if I were to turn that light off, the one that is facing the wall, you can see how much difference it makes. So these little lights throw out a lot of light for you, and they will definitely help your setup. Lighting is another very important part of your video quality. So if you're thinking about that, I highly recommend these. As I said, I've had them for a while. They do a great job. They mount to your desk, so you don't even have to take up any space by having something that is sitting right on your desk. It's actually just attached to the side of my desk there. All right, so now let's go ahead, and I want to go back and show you one other light that I have. And so the other side of the wall was it was still fairly dark. This light was handling that, and I didn't want to mount another light on this side. So I just got this really inexpensive light, and it just sits on a tripod. As a matter of fact, I have two tripods. One has my camera on it, and one has this light on it. This light is lighting the other side of the wall. So hopefully you can see that, you don't need really expensive lights, but lighting makes a huge difference. So just consider that when you are doing or putting your setup together. You want to have a good camera, a good microphone, and definitely some good lighting, and you're good to go. And remember, you can add these things later on. As a matter of fact, this last light that I showed you, the one that's on screen, I just added this maybe 2 weeks ago because I kept finding that the background behind me was still too dark. And so, I went ahead and did that. Now, could I have purchased another one of the Mount Dog, the ones that, let me go back and show you what I mean. Could I have purchased another one of these? Yeah, but I already had these other two lights, so I'm a big believer in use what you have. And so, I just kind of put it together, and it works just fine for me. All right, so that takes care of the light. Are there any questions on any of that? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to show you my boom arm that I have my microphone mounted, the one that I said I use when I'm recording video. So you can see it's just a regular boom arm, and the microphone is connected to that. And then I have an extender, an extension cord, if you will, but it just connects into the microphone so that it can in fact be plugged in to my camera, or usually it's going right into my camera. I don't typically plug it right into my laptop. I don't typically do that, but I could do that with an adapter. So it's just a way of mounting it. And again, that's what is sitting up here, and that's what I use when I'm just doing regular, talking head type videos, not live streaming. All right, so the next thing that I want to show you is that inexpensive Amazon Basics tripod. So as I mentioned, this is $14. It actually comes with its own carrying case, but I have everything set up and it just stays this way. And for those of you that might be wondering, you don't need a lot of space to record anything. I actually, if I were to turn everything around and show you, I literally have a queen size bed within 5 feet of where I'm sitting. So the space that I record in is very small. So as I said, I've shoved this tripod in there, and then I have the other tripod on the other side that is holding that smaller light that I showed you. So this is a very good, very high quality. Um, for what I'm not saying it's the absolute best, but it is very high quality. I've had these for years. As I mentioned, I have two of these, and so one is holding the camera and one is holding the light. All right, so let's go ahead now. And the next thing that I want to do is to show you, for example, I want to take you over and show you my camera remote, the remote that I use. So when I am recording videos, one of the things that I do is I stop and start my camera and I use a remote. So the Sony ZV-E10 that I mentioned to you, what I do is I can start and stop that using a remote. And so it prevents me from having to get up and physically touch the camera in order to turn it off. So just know that there are options if you're looking for something to make things a little bit easier. This absolutely does it for me. I've had this, I bought it at the same time that I purchased this camera, works wonders, and it just sits on my desk. And when I need to start or stop the camera, I can do it from here. If I need to take a picture, which I can take pictures obviously with my camera, and sometimes I use those pictures when I am creating my thumbnails for the different videos that I'm doing. I can do all of that with this particular remote. All right, so now let's go on over and let's see if there's anything else. One other thing that I want to show you, for those of you that might want to do a video where you're walking around. I'm going to show you an inexpensive way of being able to do that. So this is something, when I mentioned you could actually use your cell phone, this is a very good microphone that you can use to boost the quality of your audio if you're going to be using your cell phone. You can see you can just plug it into your cell phone and then you can just clip on the microphone. So for about, $17, you could have a quality microphone that will boost out your sound. Now, I'm not saying it's the absolute best, it's definitely not, but it does a great job. And I have used this in several of the videos that I have recorded. So I definitely like to show people kind of a way of getting started. And then what I want to do is to show you another option that you have if in fact you want to use something different, if you want to go a little bit higher quality. And this is the DJI microphone. And so this does the same thing. It can actually just be clipped onto your clothing. It has noise canceling qualities, which means that you could actually be outside recording. And even if there's stuff going on around you, this will do a very good job of isolating your voice and allowing you to actually be, to be heard as you are recording whatever it is. And you can use this with your camera. You can use this with your cell phone. So it really does double duty. So it's another great option for you. All right, now what I want to do is I want to move over. And the next thing I want to do is to take you to, let's go back here. I want to take you over and show you the equipment that I use for live streaming. Because as I mentioned, my camera is being used for live streaming. I live stream in 4K. It allows me to do that, but I do use a different microphone. And the reason why I use a different microphone is this one, the Shure that you actually are seeing and that you are hearing me on, this microphone allows me to plug it into my laptop. So it's actually recording or picking up my sound and putting it, into or you're hearing the sound come through and run through my laptop. But I am actually using the camera to record. So this is a great microphone. Now, if you're into podcasting, or you're thinking about starting a podcast, this would be a perfect microphone for something like that. So just kind of keep in mind if you're looking for something, this is again one that you could have for years to come. It's one that many of the podcasters out there, a lot of the YouTubers, they're using this microphone. It comes highly recommended and it does a great job of sound wise. I run a sound check using the software that comes with it. And I do that before every live stream. And that's how I can tell whether or not my sound is coming through okay. So if you're looking for a high quality mic that you can use for live streaming, podcasting, and so forth, this would be one that I would definitely recommend for you. All right, now let's go over and let's also talk about the mic arm that you see me using. So my microphone, the Shure that you just saw me demonstrate, is actually mounted to a low profile mic arm. And so the mic arm is actually attached to my desk, and then it allows me to move the mic very easily. So most of the mic arm is out of view of the camera, and that's because it is a low profile. If I had a regular mic arm, you probably have seen the ones that come down and, that would come at you this way. I just wanted something that I could very easily move out of the way and not have to worry about it. So I opted to go with this. And I can tell you that, this one I believe comes in black and white. And the thing about it is it does a great job. I don't have to worry about the weight of the microphone causing it to, slowly kind of drop down, which is something that will happen with some of the mic arms that are out there. So I really have enjoyed having this one, and it came highly recommended. And this is a great price for this particular mic arm. So if you're looking for a combination, something to put your microphone and have a good solid mic arm, I would definitely recommend this one as well. I've been using this. I think I again bought this one, I want to say maybe October, November of last year. And, it does a great job. And I'm very pleased and very happy with it. Again, this is another one of those that I don't have to worry about, replacing anytime in the near future. All right, so let's go on over. And the next thing I want to do is to show you something that people ask me about all the time. So if you've ever seen me, I'm going to show you just an example of this. If you've ever seen me easily switch screens, like what I just did there, I'm using something called a Stream Deck. And so the Stream Deck is actually connected to my computer, and it's also connected in with the software that I use for live streaming. And so what this allows me to do is to very easily move between scenes by just simply pressing buttons. So you can see that I just pressed a button and it moved me over into a different scene that I've personally set up. Now I'm going to take you back to the one that allows me to show you my screen along with a picture of me up in that upper right-hand corner. And as I said, it's just being I'm controlling everything with the Stream Deck. Now, the one thing I really like about the Stream Deck is it's simple to set up and it can do multiple things. So for example, if I need to end my live stream, if I need to mute it, I can do all of that because all of those buttons I've taken the time to program. I can play sounds, for example, that I have in here. I'm trying to think of some of the other things. It tells me how many people are watching the live stream. I can hide or show or hide comments. So you can program these Stream Decks to do a variety of things. Now, they do have one, I want to say there's one that might have maybe 6 or 8 buttons, but if you're looking for something to enhance the quality of your live stream by making things easy for you to move around and change scenes and so forth, I definitely recommend the Stream Deck. You don't necessarily have to have the one with all of the buttons that I'm showing here. That's just the one that I opted to go with because I wanted to have as much flexibility as possible. And as I started watching other YouTubers that were using it and they started showing how they use a variety of buttons, this one just made sense for me. But perhaps the one with fewer buttons will make more sense for you. So that's what I use. So it's again called the Elgato Stream Deck, and this one also comes in black and white. They also have one that has more buttons than this. So there's one, I think it might have like 32 buttons. I didn't need anything with that much or that many buttons on it. So this one worked just fine for me. All right, so just to show you it once again, so if I want to switch to the scene that is just me with a background, I can do that if I want. And all I'm doing is just pressing a button. You saw me switch over to the scene that doesn't have the background around it. And then finally, going back to the one that I've programmed that allows me to show my screen. All right, so this is a really cool tool that can enhance the quality of your live stream and make things easier on you. All right, so any questions that you have as we're going through this? There's one other thing I'm going to show you. Let's see here. I don't think I have it on here. I'll have to bring it up in just a second. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you is I use a Mac computer. And for those of you that may not know, Macs don't have a whole lot of ports on them. So you have to add on kind of like an additional hub, if you will, that allows you to plug multiple things in it. So this is the one that I actually use. I upgraded to this one maybe 4 months ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. And one of the reasons why I opted to go with this one is it allows me, if you can see that there, it allows me to use an Ethernet cable. So what I'm able to do is when I'm live streaming, I learned the hard way not to live stream using Wi-Fi. Now, if you have to, you have to. But what I did is I actually use an Ethernet cable, and it allows me to just connect right into my Wi-Fi expander, which I'm going to show you in just a second. But the other thing is this just gives me multiple ports. It's just plugged right into my Mac, and then it allows me to plug in other things that I need to expand the capabilities of my Mac, so that I have all the things plugged in that I need to. All right, so that's definitely something I would check out. And again, if you're interested in any of this, it's all available through my Amazon storefront. The link is in the description box. You can click on that and get to any of the items that I have here. All right, now the next thing that I want to do is to show you this. Now, you might be thinking, well, how does that help you? Well, what these are their cord organizers that I just have attached to my desk. Now, I don't know about you, but this really helps my live streaming process because I have so many different cords in that instead of them continuing to fall on the floor, what I'm able to do is to stick these little things on there, and then you snap the cord into it, and it keeps your cord in place. So you're not, they're not constantly falling on the floor, because that was one of the things that I kept seeing. And so these are really, really good. They're on sale, it looks like, with Prime Day for $8. And I believe this is it's an 8-pack. So very inexpensive. And they just stick on with, like, you just peel off the tape on the back and stick them onto the side of your desk. So that makes things really easy for you. So this also helps out my live stream as well. All right, now let me just go back here. The next thing I want to show you, because people have asked me about this. So I am actually wearing in-ear monitors. You can see in-ear monitors. You can actually see them here. And what they allow me to do is to hear myself. But if the other thing is, if I'm doing any type of an interview, I can use these as well as monitors. And my hair covers them, so you don't really see them. They just go around your ear. And then I have the cord running behind me. So this is something, if you're looking for in-ear monitors, these are really good. I've had these now, as I said, I think I bought these maybe in October or so. I'm not exactly sure when I bought them, because I bought a fair amount of equipment in October and then November. So I have the black ones, and I've had zero problems with them. But as I said, it allows me to hear things better, so I can kind of hear what you're hearing, if that makes sense to you. All right, now let's go back and let's see if there's anything else I want to show you on this. So I think that pretty much covers, let's see, I'm sorry if I'm making you dizzy. I'm going to take you back because I want to show you how the tool that I use. Let's see, I think it's in here. It might be in the other page. Let's see. Oh, let me also show you this while I'm over here. So as I mentioned, I have the Sony ZV-E10, and this is the Sony shooting grip. So if you want to do walk around videos or vlog or whatever you want to call them, the thing about this will allow you to control your camera, the Sony ZV-E10, and it just sits on this mount. You can also sit this on a desk. So this is another one that if you're looking for something to enhance your video vlogging or video recording, this is something else you could do. So it's very easy to just hold in your hand and you can zoom in, zoom out, record, and stop all at the same time. So that's something else that you can use. All right, now the next thing I want to do, I think I've pretty much covered everything I wanted to show you there. The next thing I want to do is I want to move over and show you some of my home office equipment. Okay, so with the home office equipment, what you're going to see here is really the stuff that I use to not only record videos, live stream, and so forth, but things that I do when I'm just running my business, when I'm writing scripts, and so forth. So the first thing, and I absolutely love this, I recently purchased a standing desk. So this is a Flexi Spot stand-up desk, so it allows me to just hit the button and it will raise or lower my desk. It actually comes in two pieces, or two boxes, I should say, but the reason on why I opted to go with this one is the top of it is a single piece. Many of the pieces that are out there are two pieces. So instead of this desk coming in a single piece, it comes in two, which means you have a seam running down the middle. Now, that may not bother you, but I didn't want that. So I opted to go with this. And this one also had, a lot of very positive ratings. So you can see that it has had over 9,700 positive ratings, and I rave about it. I mean, it took, maybe 40 minutes or so, if that, to put it together. It does ship in two boxes because it's pretty heavy, but they have the ability to raise or lower your desk. They say sitting is the new smoking. So this, you can allow it to raise your desk. And if you want to stand up, you want to put one of the walking pads underneath it, you can do that. So just if you're looking for a new desk or something that you're considering a standing desk, I would definitely recommend this one. So it's been great for me. I've had it for a while, really enjoy it, and I'm happy with the purchase of this. All right, so I'm going to close some of these down so I don't end up with a bunch of windows open. All right, now I'm going to show you, and this one is going to say renew, this Amazon MacBook. You don't, obviously, if you're looking for a MacBook, you don't have to buy a renewed one. I didn't buy a renewed one. I'm just showing you that my laptop is actually about 4 years old. The laptop that I use is this M1 MacBook, it says late 2021 model. And the thing about it, and the reason why I'm showing you this, is you really do not have to have the latest and greatest equipment out there. You don't have to have a brand new MacBook. As I mentioned, this one is 4 years old. That M1 chip does everything I needed to do in terms of processing when I am actually exporting videos after I've gone through the process of editing them and so forth. So it does a great job. Now, obviously, if you're in the market and you want something newer, by all means, get the one that you want. I just am sharing with you what I use because people often ask me what the equipment is that I'm using. All right, now the next thing I want to do is to show you something else that has helped me from an efficiency standpoint. So we're out of the video recording stuff now. One of the things I have been working diligently on is getting rid of the clutter in my office. Now, just so you know, I record in a guest bedroom. I have an office in the house, but I cannot record there because of the hard surfaces and the high ceilings. And my coach, once he heard my videos, he's like, no, the sound quality is just poor. So this particular printer, all in one, if you will, is in my office, but it's allowing me to get rid of the clutter because what I'm doing is I'm just taking all of those, all of that paper that people mail to you or send to you or whatever. And all I'm doing is scanning everything in now so that I don't have to worry about having folders or papers or anything like that. I just recently purchased this maybe 2 to 3 months ago, and I can guarantee you I paid more than this $99 for it. But my experience with it has been awesome. I have it connected to our Wi Fi network, so I'm able to print from wherever I am in the house. So I love it. I love the quality of it. It's worked well for me, and I definitely don't have any issues with it. So if in fact you're in the market, I would highly encourage you to at least check this one out. Even if you don't go with it, at least you've had an opportunity to see what's available, and you've seen something that is good at a great price. All right, so let me pop over here. I want to just pop up a couple of comments. Let's see. Hey, Ashiomi, how are you? All right, I'm Canadian. If I ever need to buy any of these items, is your affiliate link applicable to Canadians? I need to check on that. All of these items again are in my storefront, so I'll have to find the answer to that and then be able to answer that because I don't want to give you the wrong answer. I'm not 100% sure. As I mentioned, let me go back so you can see it. I'm just working off of my Amazon storefront. So I will have to find that answer, and I'll definitely get back to you to let you know. But I appreciate you asking that question, and happy Wednesday to you as well. All right, so let's go back in. Let's see. There's one other thing that I wanted to show you. This right here. So this TP link is my Wi-Fi extender. So I have one here or upstairs in the bedroom that I'm actually recording and live streaming from. But what I do is, I don't know if you remember me saying that I actually learned the hard way to use the Ethernet cable, come off of Wi-Fi, and actually use the cable itself in order to make sure my streams were quality and weren't glitchy. So what I'm able to do with this, and I'm going to see if I can show you right underneath the bottom of this where you can see the outlet, there is an Ethernet connection. So all I do is I go or take the other end of the Ethernet cable and I plug it in, and that's how I'm recording without being glitchy. So, but the other thing is, for example, because this bedroom is away from where my router is, when we do have guests and they connect to our Wi-Fi, I always have them connect to the extender because I know not that we have a problem with our Wi-Fi or anything, but the extender's right here, so it allows them to make sure that they're going to have a quality connection without having any problems as well. And also, if I am just needing to be without having to go live, if I'm just going to be on Wi-Fi, I don't even have to have the Ethernet cable connected. I can just connect to the extender and it does fine. I have several of these throughout the house, and the thing about it is they're on sale now for $12. So definitely. And again, that's another thing I know for a fact. I paid more than that when I purchased this, so it's definitely there. All right, let's see here. Hey, Sophia. Um, Thank you so much. And thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. This is a different type of training that I'm doing today. I'm sharing my equipment because what I want to do is to show you all how you can take advantage of Amazon Prime Days by identifying items and things that your audience might need, and then turn around and replicate this exact same process with your audience. So you can pick out 10 to 15 items, 20 items, whatever it is from Amazon. And if you're an Amazon affiliate, all you have to do then is just share in the description of your YouTube video description. You can share your links so that people can actually go directly to those links and purchase. And remember, Amazon gives you you a 24-hour cookie. So even if they don't purchase what you directed them to Amazon for and they purchase something else, as long as they do it within 24 hours, you can earn an affiliate commission. So for those of you that are using affiliate marketing as part of your monetization strategy, you have several days yet. Amazon Prime does not end until July 11th. So that means you still have multiple days to be able to replicate this process. And I definitely want you to do it because I can guarantee you someone in your audience wants to know what type of equipment you use. And this is a great way for you to be able to share that with them. So, that's the whole purpose of this today. So, as I said, this is a different type of training than I normally do, but I hope you understand that it definitely can benefit you in the long run. And I want you all to do this, even if you're scared. Do it anyway because I want you to be prepared and ready to go for Black Friday when you're definitely going to do this exact same process. All right. So again, if there are any other questions or comments, feel free to drop those in. I'll be happy to answer it. All right. So as I mentioned, I'm pulling things right off of my storefront, my Amazon storefront. I'm going to go back here for a second because the next thing that I'm going to get into are going to be books. Now, for those of you that are new to me, you probably don't know this. For those of you that have been with me for a little bit, you know I'm a big reader. And I read a lot of business books, but don't get me wrong, I also like mysteries and, thrillers and stuff like that as well. But what I want you to always have in mind are books that you can recommend to people who are part of your audience. I'm just a big believer that we can learn so much from books. So I'm going to show you my Amazon storefront again, and I want you to see how it is set up. So you see these little pins. Hopefully you can see where my cursor is. So these are what the Amazon Influencer Program call lists. So it's a collection of items that are in excuse me, a collection of items that are in your list. So I'm going to click on this now. So all of these items are 20 items up here that are part of this list. In this list, I have given a name of my video equipment. You can do the exact same thing for books or whatever else it is that you happen to recommend to your audience. But what I would recommend you do if you are joining the Amazon Influencer Program, pin your the things that people know you for. Pin those to the top, and then you can do your fun stuff. Like for example, I have coffee bar accessories here. I have summer reading, the mystery edition. I have pizza, equipment or stuff out there. But pin the things that people know you for up top, the things that people are likely to go to your Amazon influencer page. And then you can add all sorts of other things in as well. Now, let's go back to books. Now, as I mentioned, I'm big on books. And so I want to take you through a few of my favorite books that are out here. I can honestly say I've read every single one of these books. And this is a small section of the books that I have. Each one of them is going to allow you to do something different or learn something different. So right now, one of the things I want to talk about is a 12-week year. And essentially, the goal of a 12-week year is to condense your time frames and achieve a goal. That's it in a nutshell. But they give you a strategy that you can use. I actually used the 12-week year last year, and my goal was to get monetized, and I achieved my monetization goal 3 weeks early, which means I didn't set a big enough goal. So, but the point is you can use this at any time. You can start a 12-week year at any time. I'm in the midst of another one right now with the goal of increasing my email subscribers. What I would recommend is if in fact you are interested in achieving a specific goal, read this book. Okay. I actually have it both in the book form, ebook form. I have it on my Kindle, and I also have it in through Audible. So I listen to it and I read it because there are times when I want to go back and refer to something. And so this is a great way for me to be able to do that. All right. Now, let me close some of these windows out because this is the way my desktop normally looks. And I don't need to have this much junk in one place. So definitely check out the 12-week year. All right, another thing, For those of you who are solopreneurs, meaning you don't have a team, you're doing everything. That's currently my status. I may add on a virtual assistant at some point, but right now it's just me, myself, and I. Company of One is all about really the movement of being a solopreneur and why sometimes staying small is really a better option for you than trying to grow this huge business that you ultimately are going to try to sell to somebody else. Um, right now, that is just not where I'm at. I'm all about staying small. The other thing I like about this particular book is it focuses on teaching you how to come up with, let's say, a number that you need on an annual basis, let's say, to be able to do all the things you want to do so you can enjoy your life. I like to say that this book focuses more on building a business around your life as opposed to, the other way around, because a lot of times people give up so much when they're building a business. And, I'm at a point in my life where I'm just unwilling to do that. My business has to fit around my life. It has to be able to travel with me when I go and so forth. So I would encourage you to read this if you're considering solopreneurship. Or if people are asking you, well, why aren't you adding on, 5 employees or whatever? Read the book. It's well worth it to definitely have to make sure you're on the track that you want to be on and why this is working so well for so many people, being a solopreneur, that is. All right. Now, the next thing, and I'm actually in the process, I'm going to go to this one. I've probably read this book I don't know how many times. And I'm telling you right now, I have this, it's almost on repeat in my car. And the reason for it is it just helps you break through some of the things you might be struggling with. And it also talks about someone who was able to go from, growing up really in a situation where her mom was an alcoholic, her dad died at an early age, not having very much, to being a multimillionaire and now, actually employing, I think she said she employs like 15 to 20 people. But she talks about the challenges. She talks about a plan to help you get there and so forth. So I'm going to definitely encourage you to read this if, in fact, you're looking for something to help you kind of break through some mental barriers that you might be facing in terms of growing your business or even starting your business. So, again, I definitely encourage you to read We Should All Be Millionaires. As I said, I have this one on repeat in my car. Okay, the next one that let's see, gosh, I don't want to go through all of these, but let's see. Hello Fears. Okay. This one is another one that helped me a lot because I don't know about you guys, but there's always something that if we fixed it in our business, it would help us grow. Okay. So one of the things that I had an issue with was going live. And it was just like messing with my head. And I don't even know why. It was just a story I had created in my head. And so I read this book and it pushed me to actually do it. I've actually read this multiple times now. And she talks about how to get out of your comfort zone and, things that she did to personally get out of her comfort zone. I can honestly tell you that after reading this book a couple of times, I'm not going to say I only read it once, a couple of times, I was able to conquer my fear and of going live. Now, here's the crazy part. And I'm going to tell you it's crazy because I have spoken in front of audiences that have had 8 to 10,000 people in them. But going live for some reason was a real challenge for me. So again, this helped me to break out of it and to get rid of, those stories I was telling myself about all the things that could go wrong and things that would happen. And then I will tell you this, I'm going to come off of and show you this for a second. The first time I went live, just to show you how I had to work through this, was April 30th. And I'm telling you, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. But you know what? People hung in there with me. There were some folks that hung in. And you know what? I am so happy for them because the content was good. The quality of the stream was just awful. And it was because I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was prepared for it and ready to go. Let me tell you something. After that stream, I was ready to just give up this live streaming stuff. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Maybe it's just not for me. I don't know what I'm doing. But then I went back and I started rereading some of the chapters and I started listening to this book. This is another one that I have in audio format as well. So if you're not picking that up, I have several books that I have in audio format, and I also have them in Kindle format. So I went back and I listened to it, and then I thought to myself, you know what? This is something I can fix. As what's her name? Marie Forleo always says, everything's figure outable. So I am I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have to figure it out. I can do this. I know I can figure this out. So I went back and I started watching some videos to figure out what I did. The first thing was when I realized I was trying to stream on Wi-Fi. Okay, so that was an easy fix. I bought that hub, plugged in the Ethernet cable, that helped. All right. Now I think the second live stream was better, but I think my sound was off or something weird. So now I'm ready to give up again. I'm ready to seriously throw in the towel. But I'm like, you know what? I can figure this out. I know I can. And then I started hearing the stories of other people who had similar experiences. They're just like, just keep going. So all I'm saying is you can figure things out. And if there's something holding you back, you need to read this book. Okay. Because what it is there's just something you're trying to stay in your comfort zone. And getting outside of your comfort zone is uncomfortable by nature. But now you want to know something? Now I can live stream. I'm not stressed out. I'm not, worried that something weird is going to happen because I think everything that could have happened to me has happened to me during my live stream and I'm still here. Okay. So I just want you to know that. So, all right. So I'm preaching to the choir. I hate it as well going live. I might need to read that. You do need to read it because if you're feeling uneasy about it, this book will definitely help you. And here's the other thing I will share with you. The more you do it, the better at it you're going to get and the less anxious and uncomfortable you're going to be with it. So, now, like I said, I can come up here. I know exactly what all has to be turned on pretty quick. I have everything ready to go. I test my equipment and I'm up and online. And even if no one watches me, here's what I know, that there is something that I share that if someone stumbles across my live stream, they're going to learn something from. And the same thing is going to be true for you. There's something that if someone gets onto your live stream while the replay is running, they're going to learn something from you. So definitely read Hello Fears. Okay. I'm trying to think of other, something else that I've read that has helped me. Let's see, get past fear. Oh, this is another one. I don't have her. Here it is, the 5-second rule. All right. This is another one. This is, I don't know if you've ever read or heard of Mel Robbins and the 5-second rule, but essentially what she's saying is when you have something you need to do and you're uncomfortable, you're going to count it down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you do it. You don't have time to think about it anymore. You just do it. And that also, it's like it puts you into go mode. But you have to also have worked through some of the fears. And I'm not saying you're going to be completely fearless after, reading what she has, but what she has in her book, but it definitely is going to help you. It's going to give you that courage, which is, simply where you're doing something in spite of the fear. So I would encourage you to do that. So, all right, let's see here. All right. Hey, Miss Sheila. You're late, but you're going to watch the replay. I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. And I appreciate your kind words here. All right. So I'm going to go back and let's see. I think there's something else I wanted to share with you. I also have, for those of you that don't know, I'm a former CPA, so I'm always into the accounting stuff. And eventually you're going to get to a point where you need to set your business up and run it in such a way that it is actually paying you. This book, I've read this multiple times. I have a cousin, well, a lot of my cousins are entrepreneurs as well. And I've always talked to them about the Profit First method. It's well worth reading. Like I said, this might not be something you need right now, but eventually I would encourage you to read that as well. All right. So if you're interested in getting started with YouTube, Sean Cannell, he's actually my mentor with learning. This is how I learned YouTube was through his course. And also, there's a lot of great information in this particular book as well. And I see that this is on sale. So definitely would encourage you to read that. And let's see, is there anything else? There's so many books on here that I would tell you. Atomic Habits, I would tell you to, I'm sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen. Atomic Habits, I would tell you to read. Influence is also a good book. And I'm currently in the process of rereading The Big Leap. And it talks about, this upper limit problem, which many of us have. Maybe you've heard of that, maybe you haven't. But essentially, there is something that we all know if we conquer it, it's going to take our businesses to the next level. And the way that I found out about this was about this particular book was from Rachel Rogers, the one who is the author of We Should All Be Millionaires. And she said she reads this book every single year. So I'm in the process of rereading it as well because there's some things I know for a fact I need to still address that will help me grow my business and that will take my business to the next level. And that's something I want to share with you all. Right now, there might be something holding you back. But here's the thing I can tell you, whatever, once you accomplish that, and you'll think to yourself, why in the world did it take me so long to do that? Now, when you're ready to go to that next level, there's going to be something else. So, we have to, as entrepreneurs or solopreneurs, we have to continuously grow. It's called constant and, never ending improvement. You have to just make sure that you're constantly reading. So, one of the things, or listening to something, one of the things that I do is I've trained myself, and some of you may have heard me say this, but I've trained myself. So, when I'm in my car between 8 a.m. and let's say 4 p.m., and I'm not an early person, so I'm rarely in my car as early as 8 a.m., but anytime during those hours, I make sure I'm listening to a book that's going to help me grow my business. Something that I need to reread, something I need to listen to. So the way to think of it is you turn your car into a university on wheels. If you take the train, to work, if whatever it is you do, whenever your commute time is in the morning, if you're getting ready, have one of these books ready to go. You can get an Audible subscription, and these books can be purchased. And the thing I like about having both Audible and Kindle, the Kindle version of a book, is you can switch between the two. So if you start reading the book and you decide you want to start listening to it, you can switch to the audio version, and it will pick up exactly where you left off. I think they call it Whisper Sync technology. So just be aware of that as well. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to cover with you. We're getting pretty much to the end here. So I just wanted to make sure that I shared with you the content and some of the tools that I use, some of the equipment, definitely some of the books, because all of these are designed to give you a skill that you can use, you can turn around and replicate to actually build your own business. So I wanted to make sure you had books that have helped me that perhaps will help you. I also wanted you to see the equipment that I use, and I'm going to reiterate, I did not start with all of the equipment that I have. Some of you were on at the beginning, and those that joined later, remember, I'm the one who still has an iPhone 11. So, as I said, I have another one coming, a new phone coming, but I'm not a big believer in purchasing stuff that, one, you don't need, two, you can't afford, and three, you're not ready for. So I was monetized before I actually upgraded my equipment with the new camera and also the new microphone that I have for live streaming. So I don't want you spending money on things that you don't need, or at this point would need to come out of pocket with. I used the money from Google AdSense, which was once I was monetized with YouTube, to purchase all of the equipment that I have. That's what I did. And so, fortunately, I'm a believer in reinvesting into your business. And, think of it as something you have to do for yourself, which is set a goal. Let's say you want a camera. You set a goal for something you're going to achieve. And as a reward, then you can buy that camera. You set a goal to make a certain amount of money. And once you do that, then you can buy that camera, or, whatever that piece of equipment is. So just kind of keep that in mind, that you don't have to go out and start spending a lot of money for most of this. You can use your cell phone, a good microphone, and then upgrade when the time is ready, when you're ready. And when you've made some money to do it. And then the other thing is sometimes, and this is a big one. And for those of you that have been on with me, I always end with mindset. For some people, I don't want you to create another barrier, because oftentimes what will happen is people will say, well, I can't start my YouTube channel until I have a better camera. Okay, well, I can't record my course until I have a better camera or a better microphone. Or I can't. No, yes, you can. Go stand in front of a window if, in fact, you need better lighting. Get an inexpensive, let me go back to where I was, get an inexpensive microphone. Let's go back to the one I was showing you. Get an inexpensive microphone and get to work. Plug it into your cell phone. Put your cell phone on a tripod. What tripod can you use? One that's not going to, let's go back to it. Hold on for me. I apologize for not having this up and running. It should be in here. Why is it not there? Oh, here it is right here. Put your phone on on a tripod like this, sit it on a desk, or elevate it with some books, whatever you have to do. This is all about getting scrappy. We're not going to wait until we have the best equipment in order to get started. We're going to get started and then upgrade later. And when you do upgrade, I would encourage you to future-proof yourself. When I say future-proof, I mean buy something that's going to last you for 3 to 4 years, so you're not continuously spending money on equipment or whatever it is. As I mentioned to you, my my laptop is 4 years old. My MacBook is 4 years old. Maybe I'll replace it, next year. But as long as it's continuing to do what I need it to do, I'm not planning to replace it, because it does right now, it does everything I need it to do. So hopefully something that I shared with you will help you, or will definitely help you to get started. Hopefully I will see some of you doing live streams where you are recommending products. Definitely, if you're able to do it, apply for the Amazon Influencer Program, because that will give you a storefront, and then you can put everything into one place, and you can do all of these different things like collages. So, for example, I'm going to go back and show you what a collage looks like on. Let's see here. This is what a collage looks like. This is one that I created, and all you do is drag and drop things right into these collages. You can do it right on your phone, and then all of the products are off to the side here. So you can see that. So once somebody lands on your storefront, they can go to your collages, and that's another way. So this isn't a list, it's just a picture that has pictures of the various tools. Now, these things are not available with these types of tools are not available with the regular Amazon affiliate program. That's why I want you to apply to the Amazon Influencer plan to see whether or not you can get approved for that. Now, typically you do have to have some type of an audience, but once you do get approved for it, you get the storefront. So that's the reason why I'm encouraging you to do it. Now, you can be in both programs. So if you can't get approved just yet, then just use the regular Amazon affiliate program until you can. All right. So are there any questions before we wrap up? All right. If not, then the last thing I would encourage you to do, and definitely ask you to do, is if you've gotten any value out of this, if it's helped you in any way, definitely give it a thumbs up. I always say if you have a business bestie, somebody who's also building a business and they need to know about this type of information, by all means, invite them to take a look at the videos that are on my channel, and invite them to join us on Wednesdays, because Wednesdays at 12 noon I'm on and I cover different topics that fall under the umbrellas of, or my content pillars are, digital products, content creation, email marketing. What did I miss? Affiliate marketing. And then you'll see me start creating content on creating workshops, because workshops are a great digital product that will allow you to start earning income right away. And the thing about it is, every single one of you knows enough to be able to conduct a workshop, a paid workshop that people will pay you 27, 37, or more to attend. All right. So thank you so much. And thank you, Business Bestie. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here and look forward to seeing you as well as everyone else back here next Wednesday. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Have a great day.